How much does employee turnover cost a company? Most business owners only calculate a fraction of how much employee turnover actually costs. Replacing one employee might be costing your business much more than you realize. The biggest cost of employee turnover usually doesn't even show on your financial report. By the end of this video, you will understand the financial and operational impact of employee turnover beyond recruiting expenses. When you think about turnover cost, you probably think right away about how much it costs you to hire that employee. You had to place the ad, you had to spend time going through all the resumes, sourcing, you had to spend time interviewing, you made the offer, maybe you hired the employee, they worked for you for a few weeks, maybe you gave them uniform and equipment, and you had somebody train them, maybe you trained them yourself, and that adds up. And that is a bona fide expense, and it's absolutely the cost of turnover. However, there are so many other costs that are usually overlooked. And one of them is the cost of the almost burnout, disappointment, feeling that, oh, here we go again. You know the feeling. You hire somebody and they didn't work out. And then you hired another person and they didn't work out. And then another one that didn't work out. So that really demoralizes yourself and your team. And it has its cost because you lose certainty about, can I do it? You lose maybe your loyalty to the process. Other team members might have doubts in terms of, should I stay here? I mean, other people don't want to stay here. Why should I stay here? So all those things add up culturally, and that is an expense. It has its repercussions, even financially, that you might not be looking at. It's pretty hidden, but it's there. So being successful at hiring is important also for the morale of the group and showing the rest of the employees that, yes, other people want to join the group just like you did. So you made the right decision in joining the group. But of course, there are other operational costs that you can calculate. So let's take a look at them. That can be training costs. So you onboarded somebody and now you have to train them. Maybe you send them to courses. Maybe you gave them logins to online courses. You had somebody mentor them, tutor them, teach them. You maybe have a company trainer that's what they do, and they spend all their time training this new employee. So that costs time. And of course, you were paying the employee at the same time, so that also costs you. So you basically paid their salary to get them trained, but then they leave. So there was 2 weeks of training, and you paid for that. You paid for the trainer, you paid for the course, and you paid for the employee. So that is a cost that not always shows up in the hiring cost, but it's an additional cost. You have the cost of loss of productivity. Every time somebody leaves, then it takes time from others to fill in the gap. It takes time from your HR department to process it. You have to go through what happened. Sometimes it's not very pleasant, so that you are wasting time in this whole drama of things. So that also has a cost, and that is the cost of loss of productivity. It will not show up on your financial reports. It will show up as a negative in terms of, let's say you made $100,000 that month, but if you had productive employees, you could have made 150. So what you will see on the report is the 100,000. That gap of the 50,000 is not going to show up on your report. Now, there is also customer impact. Let's say the customer gets an email from a certain individual, and that individual helped them, and they want to continue being in communication with that person, but now you have to explain to the customer that they're going to have a new customer service representative that is going to help them. So it has an impact on the customer where the customer doesn't feel that continuity or that connection. That also has a monetary value that you are not necessarily going to see on your financial reports. There is the leadership time that you invest in a person, especially if they left after they had to be put maybe on a personal improvement program, or they had to be talked to. You had those discussions in your leadership meeting about whether we should keep the employee or not. This is all loss of leadership time. There is also the loss of knowledge, especially if you're losing an employee that has been there for quite a while and they accumulated that knowledge. That tribal knowledge has a value. And when it walks out the door, that whole knowledge, you can see dollar signs around it. This is what's walking out the door, but it's not just the customers that you can't service anymore, or maybe a product you can produce. It's also all the future that could have been there if the employee stayed. So think about that. There are implications to every aspect of an employee leaving. When you have well-documented processes and procedures, you are protecting yourself from loss of knowledge, from not having continuity or consistency. You're also protecting yourself in terms of the amount of time that you need to explain or you need to invest in training. Because if you have those processes documented, your training cycle is going to be much shorter, including the onboarding. So if you get yourself to a situation where an employee leaves and you have to replace them, you will be able to do it much faster with lesser cost. So remember, operational clarity protects institutional knowledge, but also gives your employees the clarity, the certainty, and the ability to perform according to expectations, which should reduce the turnover. Reducing turnover starts by making your employees succeed. And the way to do that is by having well-documented processes and procedures that they can easily follow. So in my next video, I'm going to go over how to create processes and procedures in the most effective way so everyone in the company can follow them. So make sure to watch it. See you in my next video.